Eggs. For decades, they've been praised as the gold standard of protein. Doctors, diet books, even fitness gurus have called them the perfect food. But here's the truth. Eggs are not the king of protein. Surprising, right? In fact, there are at least 8 other foods that beat eggs when it comes to building muscle, protecting your strength, and helping you stay active as you age. Some of them are so powerful, yet so underappreciated, that you almost never hear about them in mainstream nutrition advice. Now, maybe you've always believed that starting your day with eggs was the smartest choice. Or maybe you've heard critics say eggs are overrated, even risky for heart health. Wherever you stand, today I'm going to challenge that old idea and show you why the real champions of protein might already be sitting quietly on your grocery shelf, waiting to change the way you think about food forever. And here's my promise to you. If you stay with me all the way through this video, at the end I'll share a specific combination of these foods that I recommend to my own patients. This simple mix has helped men and women in their 60s and 70s regain muscle strength in just weeks. It's something you won't find in textbooks or on TV, and it may just surprise you. To make it easier for you to follow along, I've also written a quick outline of today's video down in the description box. That way, if you ever want to jump back, take notes, or revisit a specific food, it's all right there for you. All right, are you ready? Let's uncover the 8 foods that can truly outshine eggs, and why they might be the key to keeping your body youthful, resilient, and full of energy. You know, one of the things I see most often in my patients over 60 is something you can't really feel happening day by day. But it's always there, quietly working in the background. It's called sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass. And here's the part that surprises most people. It affects nearly 80% of adults over 60. That means, chances are, either you or someone you love is already dealing with it, maybe without even realizing. I've had patients tell me, "Doc, I'm eating fine. I haven't really changed my diet, but I just don't feel as strong as I used to." They climb a set of stairs and feel drained. They carry groceries and their arms get tired. It's not for lack of food. It's because their muscles themselves are slipping away. Here's the science behind it. By the time the average person reaches 70, they've already lost about 20 to 30% of the muscle they had at 30. Think about that. Nearly a third of your strength, gone. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's slow. It's silent. And that's what makes it so dangerous. You don't notice until one day you realize the things that used to feel easy now feel like climbing a mountain. And here's the twist most people don't expect. Eating a few eggs each morning isn't enough to fight it. Don't get me wrong, eggs are healthy. But if you think they're all you need to stop muscle loss, that's where the real danger lies. Because sarcopenia doesn't care about tradition or old food advice. It requires a lot more. And that's exactly why we're talking about foods far more powerful than eggs. Foods that can actually help your body rebuild, repair, and protect muscle, so you don't just age, you age strong. Eggs are great. I'll never tell you otherwise. They're easy to find, simple to cook, and they do provide a solid base of protein. That's why so many people think of them as the go-to food for muscle health. But here's the thing most people don't realize. Eggs, on their own, simply aren't enough. Yes, they contain the basic amino acids your body needs, but they're missing some of the powerful building blocks that really drive muscle growth and repair. Think of it like this. You can build a house with just wood, but without nails, bricks, and cement, it's never going to stand strong. And then there's the issue of inflammation. Eggs don't really bring much to the table when it comes to fighting the low-grade inflammation that sneaks in as we age. That's important because inflammation can actually make it harder for your muscles to recover, no matter how much protein you eat. Plus, for some folks, eating too many eggs may raise cholesterol. And that's another layer we don't want to ignore. So if eggs are like a dependable Toyota, reliable, steady, nothing flashy, The foods I'm about to share with you are more like Ferraris. They're high-powered, efficient, and designed to take your body's performance to the next level. And we're starting right now, with number 8 on the list. Trust me, you'll want to stick around until we get to number 1. Let's start with something that doesn't even look like a protein powerhouse at first glance. Imagine a golden yellow powder that looks like a seasoning you might sprinkle on popcorn or salad. Most people see it and think, "Oh, that's just a flavor booster." But here's the surprise. This little golden flake is hiding a serious punch of protein. I'm talking about nutritional yeast. Just 100 grams of it can pack in 45 to 50 grams of protein. That's a huge number when you realize it's something you can simply sprinkle over your food without even cooking. But it's not just the protein. Nutritional yeast is loaded with B vitamins, the kind that your body uses to turn food into usable energy. And that energy makes a real difference, especially as we get older. I had a patient in her late 60s who started adding just a spoonful to her salads and soups every day. 2 weeks later, she came back and told me, "Doctor, I feel like I've got my afternoons back. I don't crash on the couch anymore." It wasn't magic. It was simply her body finally getting the nutrients it had been missing. And here's the best part. Nutritional yeast has this naturally cheesy, nutty flavor. So instead of feeling like you're taking medicine, you're actually enjoying your meals a little more. It's like tricking your taste buds into eating healthier without even realizing it. Now, as impressive as those protein numbers are, they're just the beginning. Because the food I'm about to share next doesn't just match nutritional yeast, it absolutely dwarfs it. Some call it the green giant of the protein world, and once you hear about it, you'll understand why. Now let's talk about something that looks a little unusual, but carries an unbelievable amount of strength in every tiny particle. Spirulina, that deep green powder you may have seen in health stores, is often called one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. And here's why. About 60 to 70% of its weight is pure protein. Think about that for a second. Most foods struggle to get anywhere near that number, yet this little green algae is practically built out of protein. It's no wonder NASA once included spirulina in the diet of astronauts. When you're floating in space with no fresh produce, you need something compact, efficient, and absolutely loaded with nutrients. Spirulina was a perfect choice. And if it's strong enough to fuel space missions, imagine what it can do for your daily energy and muscle health right here on Earth. But protein is just the start. Spirulina is also rich in iron, which helps keep your blood carrying oxygen effectively, critical for stamina and strength. And then there's phycocyanin, the bright blue-green pigment that gives spirulina its color. This compound is a powerful antioxidant, helping calm the oxidative stress and low-level inflammation that silently chip away at our muscles as we age. Using it is surprisingly simple. You don't need fancy recipes or complicated preparation. Just 1 teaspoon of spirulina powder blended into a glass of fruit juice or a morning smoothie is enough. A lot of my patients tell me they love mixing it with orange juice. The citrus masks the earthy flavor, and you get a double hit of vitamin C and plant-based protein to start the day. So yes, spirulina may look a little strange at first, but it's one of those hidden gems that can transform how strong and energized you feel. And if you think algae sounds exotic, wait until you see what's next. Because the next food on our list isn't from the ocean at all. It's a tiny seed, almost invisible to the eye, but it carries a level of strength and balance that might surprise you. From the outside, hemp hearts don't look like much. Tiny, soft seeds you could almost overlook at the bottom of a bag. But don't let their size fool you. Inside those little kernels is a powerhouse of nutrition. Just 100 grams carries around 31 grams of protein. And what makes that protein so special is how easy it is for your body to digest and use. That means less strain on your system and more fuel going directly to your muscles where you need it most. But hemp hearts bring even more to the table than just protein. They're naturally rich in omega-3 fatty acids, the same heart-friendly fats you've probably heard about in fish. These fats don't just support heart health, they also help reduce inflammation, making recovery smoother after exercise or even just a busy day on your feet. I often tell my patients to think of hemp hearts like biofuel. Imagine pouring a clean, efficient fuel into your engine. Not only does it power the car forward, it also helps everything inside run more smoothly. Hemp hearts do the same for your body, feeding your muscles while keeping your heart and blood vessels in good condition. And the best part? They're incredibly easy to enjoy. You can sprinkle a spoonful over your morning oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or even toss them on top of a salad for a nutty, slightly sweet crunch. It doesn't feel like you're adding health food. It just feels like making your meals a little more satisfying. For people who sometimes struggle with digestion or can't tolerate heavier proteins, hemp hearts are often a gentle, nourishing alternative. It's one of those foods that feels almost too simple to be this effective, but that's the beauty of it. Still, as impressive as hemp hearts are, they're just the beginning of what nature has to offer. Because next up is an ancient grain so treasured that the Inca civilization called it the seed of immortality. And once you see why, you'll understand the name. Amaranth may not be the first grain that comes to mind when you think about protein, but for centuries it's been treasured as something truly special. The Inca called it the seed of immortality, and when you look at its nutrition profile, it's easy to see why. 1 cup carries about 14 grams of protein, and unlike many other grains, it's particularly rich in lysine, an essential amino acid your body can't make on its own. Lysine plays a key role in building and repairing muscle tissue, making amaranth a quiet but powerful ally in the fight against age-related muscle loss. What makes amaranth even more fascinating is a compound it contains called lunasin. This little peptide works almost like a natural shield inside your body, helping to calm inflammation before it chips away at your strength and mobility. For older adults who are dealing with stiffness or sore joints, that's not just a bonus. It's a game changer. The beauty of amaranth is in how approachable it is. Cook it like oatmeal in the morning, and you'll get a warm, nutty porridge that keeps you full for hours. Or simply swap it in for rice or quinoa at dinner. It absorbs flavors beautifully, whether you're pairing it with roasted vegetables or a light stir-fry. There's no sense of sacrifice, just a satisfying, hearty addition to your meals that happens to be building your strength from the inside out. I once had a patient who switched to amaranth porridge a few mornings a week. Within a month, she didn't just notice steadier energy, she said her knees felt less achy climbing the stairs. That's the kind of subtle, everyday change this humble grain can bring. And yet, as powerful as amaranth is, it's still just a stepping stone. Because next on our list is a bean so potent, so directly tied to muscle strength, that it could reshape the way you think about protein altogether. Are you ready? Lupini beans don't usually get the spotlight, but once you learn about them, you'll wonder why they're not on every grocery shelf. Just 1 cup carries around 40 grams of protein. Yes, 40. That's more than most people expect from a plant food. What makes it even more special is the type of protein it delivers. Lupini beans are loaded with BCAAs, branched-chain amino acids, the exact building blocks your muscles crave to grow stronger and recover faster. Unlike many other beans, lupini are naturally low in carbohydrates. That means they won't send your blood sugar on a roller coaster, making them an excellent option for people managing diabetes or anyone trying to keep their energy steady throughout the day. Imagine a food that's both gentle on your metabolism and powerful for your muscles. That's lupini in a nutshell. Researchers in Italy actually tested these beans with older adults over 65. After just a few weeks of including lupini regularly in their diets, participants didn't just feel better. They showed measurable gains in muscle strength. Think about that for a moment. Food alone making such a difference. No complicated supplements required. The taste? They're firm, nutty, and just a little bit bitter, but in a pleasant way. In Mediterranean countries, they're often eaten as a simple snack, just salted and ready to pop into your mouth like peanuts. You can also toss them into salads or blend them into dips. They're versatile, satisfying, and quietly powerful. I had a patient who started swapping out chips with a small bowl of lupini beans in the evening. She told me not only did her late-night cravings calm down, but within weeks she felt steadier climbing stairs and carrying groceries. Sometimes the simplest changes create the biggest shifts, and just when you think beans are impressive, brace yourself, because the next source of protein doesn't come from plants or animals in the way you expect. In fact, it might make you raise an eyebrow, because we're talking about protein that comes straight from insects. Now, before you wrinkle your nose, let's talk about cricket flour. Yes, it comes from crickets, the little insects that chirp at night. But hear me out. Per 100 grams, cricket flour delivers a jaw-dropping 65 grams of protein. That's nearly double what you'd find in chicken breast, and far beyond what an egg can give you. Think of it like plugging your muscles into a supercharged battery. That's how potent it is. But protein isn't the only gift here. Cricket flour is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin B12, a nutrient that's often missing in older adults and can leave you feeling drained and foggy when it's low. Getting enough B12 means more energy, sharper focus, and stronger nerve health, all essential if you want to keep moving with confidence as the years go by. What surprises most people is how versatile cricket flour is. It doesn't taste like bugs. In fact, when it's ground into a fine powder, it has a mild, nutty flavor that blends beautifully into everyday foods. Imagine a protein bar baked with cricket flour. It's soft, satisfying, and secretly packed with muscle fuel. Some people add a scoop to smoothies or even pancake batter. You'd never know it was there, yet your body reaps the benefits. I once had a client who was hesitant at first, but after trying cricket flour in her morning muffins, she came back 2 weeks later laughing, saying, "I can't believe I'm eating crickets," and loving it. More importantly, she noticed less fatigue during her afternoon walks, and even her balance felt steadier. Sometimes, the strangest foods end up being the most effective allies for our health. So, while it may sound unusual, cricket flour is truly a hidden gem, a compact powerhouse of protein and nutrients that your body can put to work immediately. And if the idea of insects still feels like a stretch, don't worry. Up next, we're moving to something far more familiar, especially if you enjoy Asian cuisine. It's a humble dish, but trust me, it packs incredible strength. Tempeh may look humble, just a firm block of fermented soybeans, but don't let its appearance fool you. In a single cup, you're getting about 31 grams of high-quality protein. That's like eating a steak, but plant-based. And unlike many protein sources, Tempeh brings something extra to the table: probiotics, the friendly bacteria that keep your gut healthy and your digestion smooth. I've seen this firsthand with one of my patients. She came to me constantly bloated, struggling with stomach discomfort, and worried about her weakening bones. We added tempeh into her meals, sometimes sliced thin and sautéed, sometimes cubed into soups, and within just a month she noticed real changes. Her digestion calmed down, meals left her feeling lighter instead of heavy, and surprisingly, her joints started feeling more flexible. That's the beauty of tempeh. Along with probiotics, it's also rich in vitamin K2, a nutrient that helps move calcium into your bones where it belongs, instead of letting it clog your arteries. And here's something I love about tempeh. Its texture and taste adapt to whatever you're cooking. Grill it with a smoky marinade, and it can stand in for meat on your plate. Crumble it into chili or pasta sauce, and suddenly you've got a hearty, protein-packed meal that even meat lovers enjoy. It's versatile, satisfying, and nourishing in a way that feels almost too good to be true. When I describe tempeh to people, I often say it's like a quiet friend who always has your back. Steady, supportive, and stronger than it looks. You don't need a lot of it, but over time it can make a remarkable difference in how your body feels and functions. So yes, tempeh may not have the flash of a supplement or the novelty of an exotic powder, but it's a grounded, dependable food that combines protein, probiotics, and bone-strengthening nutrients all in one. And speaking of strength, we've reached the final stop on this journey. Get ready for the ultimate surprise. The pumpkin seed warrior that takes the crown at number 1. Sometimes the strongest heroes don't make the loudest entrance. Pumpkin seed protein is one of those quiet powerhouses that most people overlook. Yet, in just 100 grams, you're getting around 60 grams of clean, plant-based protein. That's right, 60. More than enough to rival the most celebrated animal proteins, and it comes wrapped in a package that's easy on your stomach and kind to your heart. But the magic of pumpkin seeds doesn't stop at protein. They're packed with zinc, a mineral your immune system absolutely depends on, and magnesium, which your muscles and nerves crave to stay relaxed and strong. And here's something fascinating. Pumpkin seeds also contain tryptophan, the same compound your body uses to produce serotonin and melatonin. In simple terms, they help your mood during the day, and they help you sleep deeply at night. Better rest means better recovery, and better recovery means stronger muscles. I'll let you in on a little secret. Over the years, I've quietly added pumpkin seed protein into the nutrition plans of many of my patients, especially those over 60 who are fighting muscle loss. It's not flashy, but it works. One gentleman I worked with, he was in his 70s, tired of feeling weaker every month, started blending pumpkin seed protein into his morning smoothies. Within weeks, he noticed not just more strength, but also better sleep and steadier energy throughout the day. That kind of change isn't just physical, it's life-changing. What I love most is how simple it is to use. Stir it into oatmeal, blend it into shakes, or even bake it into bread. It's versatile, it's natural, and it feels like your body knows exactly what to do with it. And this is why I often call pumpkin seed protein the silent hero of the protein world. It doesn't get the headlines, but quietly, day after day, it supports your muscles, your bones, your mood, and even your sleep. Sometimes, the best solutions are the ones hiding in plain sight, waiting for you to finally give them a chance. One of the biggest secrets I've learned in decades of practice is this: it's rarely about a single food. The real magic happens when you bring different foods together, letting them complement each other like instruments in a symphony. Alone, each has its strength, but together, they create a harmony that amplifies every note, a strength your body can truly feel. That's why I often share what I call my doctor's formula. It's not complicated. It's simply the thoughtful combination of proteins that work hand in hand, improving absorption and balance in ways that one food alone can't achieve. Here's how it might look in a single day. In the morning, start with a smoothie. Add a spoonful of spirulina for its powerhouse protein, and sprinkle in hemp hearts for that gentle boost of omega-3s and heart-friendly nutrition. It's light, energizing, and sets the tone for your day. At lunch, build your plate around tempeh paired with amaranth. The tempeh brings you probiotics and steady protein, while amaranth offers lysine and anti-inflammatory compounds, helping your muscles recover and your joints stay flexible. It's satisfying but not heavy, the kind of meal that fuels your afternoon without slowing you down. And then, as the day winds down, a warm bowl of lupin bean soup enriched with pumpkin seed powder makes for a nourishing dinner. The lupin beans deliver dense protein and support blood sugar balance, while the pumpkin seed powder quietly works on your muscles and even your sleep quality. It's comfort food with a purpose: grounding, restorative, and deeply healing. I often tell my patients, think of it as an orchestra. Each of these foods is like a soloist, beautiful on its own. But when they come together, it's no longer just individual notes. It becomes music, strong, resonant, and life-changing. That's the secret. Not one magic food, but the harmony of many, playing together to bring your body back into balance and strength. Turning 60 doesn't mean it's time to slow down. It doesn't mean your best days are behind you. In fact, it's simply your body's way of saying, it's time for a new strategy, a smarter way to stay strong. I've seen so many people in their 60s and 70s who thought weakness and fatigue were just part of aging. But the truth is, it's not the end. It's a turning point. And that turning point begins with the choices you make every single day. Every meal you sit down to is more than just food. It's a decision, an investment. When you add a spoonful of protein-rich seeds to your breakfast or choose a hearty bean soup for dinner, you're not just feeding today's hunger. You're laying the foundation for strength, mobility, and independence 10 years from now. Imagine yourself a decade from today. Do you want to be walking confidently, carrying your groceries with ease, playing with your grandkids without getting winded? Those outcomes don't just happen by chance. They're built, meal by meal, habit by habit, starting right now. I like to remind my patients, your body is remarkably resilient. Even after years of neglect, it can rebuild, restore, and surprise you with what it's capable of, if you give it the right fuel. And that's the gift you can give yourself. Not tomorrow, not next month, but with the very next bite you take. So don't think of 60 as a stopping line. Think of it as a starting point, a fresh opportunity to invest in your strength and vitality. Because every smart choice you make today is a promise you're keeping to your future self. And trust me, that future version of you will thank you every single day. So as we've seen today, eggs may be good, but they're far from the only option. There are so many powerful sources of protein out there, and when you learn how to use them, they can protect your muscles and keep you strong well into the years ahead. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these foods would you like to try first? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll do my best to respond. And if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend or family member. Because at the end of the day, health is the most precious gift we can give each other. Finally, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because in the next video I'll be sharing another health secret, one that the medical industry rarely talks about, but could make a huge difference in your daily life. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.